I was
here for Trainspotting.
Yeah, we had a screening of Trainspotting here, which is one of the first ever in the world. Well, it was the first ever in the world that wasn't, for anybody other than the makers of the film. It was like the first time it was ever shown. So it's lovely to be able to come back and do a Q&A with Frank, given its connection with the city this year, and also then screen Trainspotting here in the same place 20 years later.
Was there any hesitation whenever there was an interest in bringing you to the film festival? Because obviously, since that screening of Trainspotting years ago, you have gone on to be this huge star, very, very buzzy. Whenever someone came and said, "Gary, I'm interested in bringing you back," was it, "Yeah, I really want to go back there"?
Oh yeah, no, I don't have any. I've always had a good relationship with Derry, Belfast, actually Armagh, and lots of places that stayed in. Had a wonderful. We made a little film in the Mourne Mountains, which I loved, and I love the Northampton coast, and it's like. So and my family's all Irish originally, I had no hesitation, and I kind of like, I was delighted to. I'm delighted to. I'm sorry I wasn't here for the Return of Colm Kiln, but I was away, and.
Did you manage to see any of it?
Oh, I saw some of it. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. So I was really chuffed about that. I'm very pleased for Frank. He's a great man. So no, I have no hesitation whatsoever. No.
And obviously, Frank's involvement with the city this year's all been in the bag of city and culture. From a filmmaker's point of view, how do you see culture fitting into society, and more specific with Derry and Northern Ireland? How do you see film and culture being able to act as a healing tool?
Well, I think I certainly. I've always, obviously, you speak to someone like me, I'm obviously going to speak in favour of culture.
Yeah.
That's a given, really. But I learned something more valuable than my own preference for it during the Olympics thing, which is that, and it was two things really. Which is the first thing is economically, culture has to. Well, culture makes sense. It's what we're best at, actually. These are islands off Western Europe. That's what we're best at. I mean, you could say we're good at engineering, and we are good at engineering. We're actually brilliant at it, but not on a mass scale anymore. And we're certainly not good at micro-engineering, like circuit boards or that kind of work, which is clearly belongs in other parts of the world. So you think, what are we good at? I'll tell you what we're good at, is culture. People think we're cool. And there's lots of reasons for that. There's music, fashion, the vibe, films, television, so many different things and so there's that argument. Economically, it's crucial to our future development, and I think even previously hostile opinions about that from the more conservative world are beginning to realise how important it is to invest in culture and the rewards you get economically. But secondly, the rewards you get are community rewards, really, which is that you give people, it's a way of giving people a sense of well-being. And look, well-being actually comes from feeling that you belong to something that has some value, and culture is wonderful at expressing that. It can be dissident culture, it can be critical culture, but it feels like you are involved in expression, self-expression. From critical parts of your community you don't agree with, but if it's expressed freely and vividly, it makes everybody feel better about themselves, weirdly. So, I'm a big fan, obviously, and I'd recommend it. And I was busy recommending it during the Olympics, and I think the Year of Culture here proves, when you get the Turner Prize, and you get that footfall that's coming to the Turner Prize, in Derry, you think that's a wonderful thing, There is a problem, there is a problem economically, which is in these islands at the moment, which is the success of London being a magnet that draws too much and too many people to it. And whenever you can take the responsibility to make sure that key events like the Turner Prize, like the BBC's organisation moving to Salford near Manchester, whenever you can do that, that's important. So you diversify this because otherwise inexorably London draws everything to it, and it becomes a brain drain for the rest of the country. and that you've got to fight that. So you know, and then you hear the Turner Prize is going to be in Glasgow in 2 years' time. You know, that's wonderful. So.
In terms of your own material, what are you working on at the moment? Obviously, Porno's the one that everybody's talking about.
Yeah, we're kind of got plans for trying to, whether we'll hit the exact 20-year anniversary, which would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we're trying to. So working on that. I'm just finishing a television pilot at the moment.
Okay.
Called Babylon, which will be out in January on Channel 4.
Okay.
And then we start work next year on a project which I can't tell you about yet.
Okay.
You'll be hearing about in due course.
Very good.
Hopefully.
And in terms of Best Picture at the Oscars this year, who do you think's going to win it? Who would you like to see win it?
Well, I haven't seen everything, of course, so you've got to be careful about giving opinions when you haven't seen things. Haven't seen 12 Years a Slave yet, which I'm looking forward to very much. I hear wonderful things about it. I've seen Gravity, which is, having made a space film, Sunshine, I can appreciate what they went through making that film. And it's staggeringly different scale to ours, you know, in terms of money, but it is an amazing film. Yeah, quite extraordinary film. But I haven't seen many of the others actually. I've got a lot.
Captain Phillips yet? Captain Phillips?
No, when I missed. Obviously, Paul was here, I know, a couple of days ago. I haven't seen that yet. I've got to start catching up because we've just finished filming, so I tend not to see stuff like